podcasts, right? We always have good questions, right, guys?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Every
only
question.
good questions here.
Yeah, we've never devolved into talking about muscle mommies for 30 minutes.
Never.
Yeah, that's never
Could not be.
happened. Couldn't happen.
It never
on this
happened, other than
podcast.
that one time that it happened, and then the time it happened after that.
Yeah. God, make some of our conversations seem normal in comparison. I feel like
There's, I don't, God, like, everything, if you compare us just to the CB episode and then every other episode, it makes it seem like we're normal. But if you just
This
watch the
is
CB
true.
episode, you realize we're not even fucking close.
There's no fun in being normal anyway, so.
Yeah. Mega, are you feeling normal?
No, I'm feeling wacky. Let's get after it.
I'm over here kicking my feet and shit. Like, I'm as far from normal as I've been. This is what happens when a bad bitch gets medicated. Please tell me that's the intro, Dex. Please. I gave you the clip and everything.
It's definitely in it.
This band's definitely been going.
Yeah.
He's definitely been
Perfect.
at
The
it.
moment you gave me your camera was the moment I started recording.
Wonderful.
That's smart. That's smart.
Hey, like I said, eventually one of these days, the moment everyone joins the call, I don't care if you guys have given me cameras or not, I'm just going to start recording and see what happens. Because I know Hunter in the past I know Hunter in the past has definitely held on to giving me his camera because we were talking about some random shit that he did not want to be put out there into the world.
Wow, that's some great context here.
Hey, I don't remember.
Some
We've
really
done,
good
we've done
context.
53, and now this is 54 of these things. It really has to be something special to stick with me.
Okay, I'll take that with some level of value then, I guess.
I still remember the one time that we had to cut it because of you.
Yeah, but I'm not the only person who's caused it to be cut, so like I have that distinction is gone at least.
Thank God the 2 times I've actually had to heavily edit this podcast, it's happened in the first 5 minutes of it.
I can't wait for someone to say something heinous at like the 30-minute mark, and it's just well, hey, why is there this whole chunk missing? I mean, don't ask.
You'll just see a cut and then me with my head in my hands. It doesn't matter. That happens anyway. Okay, but let's actually get the show rolling here. Welcome back, everyone, to episode number 54 of For the Love of Prod. This week, we are joined by HDPhillyB. Man, thank you so much for coming on. As always, joined by Megalass and Huntertain here as well. Well, it's been a fun week, I think, for all of us here. But, Philly, before we kind of get everything started here with the podcast, I want to give a chance for you to introduce yourself here. And really by what I'm asking with that is tell us what roles you do with esports production and tell us what games or titles you work in.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, thank you so much for reaching out to me. We connected through the CGL casting Overwatch, which is where I got my start as a caster. Love that game. Still play to this very day. We all do. But I've branched out a little bit more into a lot of other esports titles. So mainly what I focus on right now is Deadlock and Predecessor. Those are 2 third-person MOBAs. They're very different in terms of their gameplay, but I'm really loving that space. I was glad to get on a CGL last night because it's been forever since I cast an Overwatch match, and I was like, I need this, please, and it was so much fun. So hope to be back some more. Besides that, I actually have a side hustle called Delmarvel Gaming, and what I do is I go to bars and restaurants around Delaware, Philadelphia, and New Jersey, and I host Smash Brothers and Mario Kart tournaments. So I'm like the MC and the caster for that. So I cast a lot of Smash Brothers and Mario Kart. And I'm also a soccer caster, so I'm hired by a production company in Philadelphia, cast soccer, and I cast my first lacrosse match yesterday too for Wilmington University, where I am the assistant director of esports there. So I'm all over the place in terms of casting, but that's where I mainly find myself in terms of the production side, is in front of the camera speaking about the game.
What soccer teams have you worked for or worked with?
Yeah, great question. So I work for the American Premier Soccer League and the USL 2. So the USL is kind of like the sister league of the MLS, which is the
Hmm.
Major League Soccer, where you have like the Philadelphia Union and all those teams. I'm not there yet, I wish, but the USL is kind of like a tier. So I'm on like the second tier of that.
Hmm.
Cast some teams there, and then for the American Premier Soccer League, that's like fourth tier soccer. So nothing, no teams you've ever really heard of, but you got to start somewhere, and it's a really great way to bring grassroots soccer to the forefront and really get that community going and get those players highlighted.
Are you working with the Bethlehem Steel?
I work with them. The company that I work for is called Game and Frame,
Hmm.
and they're primarily based out of New York City. But I'm part of their Philadelphia production crew, and there's just a singular crew. So there's like two casters, one camera person, and that's it. So we've got to hustle to cover as many games as we can. So unfortunately, haven't gotten to the Steel just yet, but we're certainly trying to make it happen.
Yeah, I surprisingly know a lot about the differences between the MLS and the USL, because the USL does it a lot more like how every other soccer league in the world does it, with a actual promotion relegation system. With they call it USL Championship now, right? And then it's USL 2, 3, and 4, which a lot of time 4 is just like small college age teams that only play in the summer.
Yeah.
But 2 is looked at, like 3 and 2 are looked at as the more professional branches of that. And then championship is, championship.
Yep.
But I mean, I really want to see it succeed, because I want that pressure to be there for MLS to actually figure out what they're doing, because eventually, to grow soccer in this country, there needs to be promotion and relegation. Because, dear God, if we could get rid of some MLS teams, it would be really fun.
There's got to be something more to play for, and I feel like, I mean, everybody chime in on this, but it's like, Americans, we love high scoring, fast paced, hard hitting kind of action in soccer. Yeah, there's some big tackles and things like that, but a game could end 0-0, and you could get excited about that, but it takes some effort. I think that brings the production really to the forefront. We have to be the ones to bring that energy and bring that entertainment to some of those matches.
Yeah, me and Hunter, I think, will really relate to that with sports, because we're both at least into some sports. I know Mega, when it comes to talking about sports ball, doesn't necessarily follow a lot. She will constantly bring it up whenever the Panthers are doing good or bad, or even the Hornets are doing good or bad, because she lives in North Carolina, and I'm a fan of those two teams. And I normally agree with her with whatever she's saying, because most of the time she's reading the right thing about how good the teams are doing. Most of the time it's bad.
Okay, this year, right? Like the Panthers made the playoffs, so not too terrible. I think they got a couple of pieces there, so we'll see.
I think the Panthers got pieces. The Hornets are slowly fixing it. Why did I say that?
You jinxed them now.
Dear
Dex.
God,
they're done for.
Dear God, LaMelo Ball is going to tear his fucking ACL in the next game he plays. Shit.
Hunter, are there specific sports that you like to watch?
I've always been a football guy growing up in Ohio. It just kind of comes with living here. So that's
he's not a fan of any Ohio team.
Well, no professional team. Yeah, that is fair.
Oh, okay. But like, the Ohio State or something like that. Are you a fan of those guys? Okay.
Oh yeah, 100%. A lot of the teams here in Ohio, whether it is like Ohio, like University out in Athens, whether it's UT, BGSU, always a fan of going to them, attending their games every once in a while as well for those last two, since they are just literally like 10, 15 minutes away from me, respectively.
Yeah.
And how are you in between two schools that suck at football?
See, no, one is the other one is definitely not good. One just can't get its shit together well enough to actually compete at the highest level.
That's just the MAC.
They get so many, but like Toledo gets so many good players, and then they do nothing with them, and then they just go off to the league anyway.
It's the MAC. That's just the MAC. They have incredible talent, don't know how to use it, and then hey, look, he's in the NFL. It's fun, but yeah, no, like especially with soccer, because like I'm a big fan. I follow Charlotte FC in MLS. Was a season ticket holder at one point, and I think some of the more fun games I went to there were some of those 0-0 games, because the first 75 minutes, it's like, dear God, someone please score. But then those last 15 minutes, it's like, oh God, please don't fuck this. Please don't mess this up. Please don't mess this up. And then you start to build that hype anytime the ball gets cleared away from your end of the field.
And I think the big thing with soccer in terms of like, casting and production is like, how do we bring that
Mm.
one punchline moment? Like on my note sheet, I have 3 or 4 lines that I'm like, if a goal scores, this is how I want to say it, because you might only get that one
Mm.
opportunity and you have to wait maybe 75 minutes, 90 minutes for it to occur. But like we cast Overwatch, and a major graviton surge or huge gravitic flux or a massive triple kill or whatever it is could happen in an instant.
Mm.
So making that quick adjustment is definitely a skill. So going between a slower game like soccer and then a quick game like Overwatch can be difficult. When I first started casting MOBAs, it was the same thing. I had people coaching me like, Philly, you need to slow down when you're casting MOBAs. I'm like, I'm coming from Overwatch where there's action all the time. What do you mean slow down? So you have to change your cadence when you go between these different kind of genres. So just something interesting is like I'm getting cross training by going through all these different like avenues, you know?
Yeah, and we'll probably definitely touch on that in a little bit later, especially with what you said. You've covered shooters, real sport, traditional sports, MOBAs, Mario Kart, platform fighters with Smash Brothers. A lot of different cadences, a lot of different timing, a lot of different speed. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But right now, I want to get into the two normal questions that we normally ask all of our guests here, and they're pretty much back-to-back questions. I'll say the first one. You'll probably guess what the second part of it is really quickly. But
Good.
we want to know what got you into doing stuff in esports, and more specifically, what got you into doing stuff within esports production.
Yeah, great question. So it really came down to COVID. It was like 2020. The Overwatch League was happening, and that was basically the only thing to do. Really, was like sit around, watch esports, play some esports myself, whatever. But I was listening to those guys, mainly Uber. Uber is like my Michael Jordan, like poster of that guy on my wall, like absolute legend of the scene, my favorite caster ever. But listening to him, listening to some of those other casters throughout the scene, I was like, you know what? I think I can do this. And so I actually just like would sit at my computer and just cast over like really old YouTube videos. I just started doing that. Just kept practicing and practicing. And then when 2020 rolled or 2021 rolled around, the University of Delaware reached out to me because they were opening up their esports arena. And I'm an alumni from there. I used to work for their student life and whatever. And they're like, Philly, like, do you want to come and help our students, get back involved with the arena? So I said, sure. And so I was able to cast for them a little bit more, learn the production side of things, and then really from there made some connections and then kind of moved up and met some great people like in the CGL and EGF and BPL and like all those different Overwatch leagues. So that's kind of where I got my start. It's just like self-motivated, just, hey, let's give it a shot and go from there.
Yeah, I feel like we've the three of us have really talked about our like start with it all,
Yeah.
but like the difference between like me and you, especially because with you, it was like going back to be a caster at your alumni or your alma mater. Essentially, it was I was in college when my school started their esports program, and to make it because I've talked about it too many times on this podcast. To make a long story short, I failed to try out because I was terrible and just asked if I could do anything. And they said, you want to be a caster? I just said, sure. Like, I'm all in. Don't know how to do it.
Oh, so you failed to try out to be on a team, not for casting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I failed the
I was like, you
tryout
failed the
to
casting
make the
tryout. What?
team. Like,
Okay.
about a year later, they're like, for some reason, the esports team had a lot of pull with some people. So they did a the newspaper came and did a story about the people who were the commentators of it. And I'm quoted in saying, "Oh God, I suck at this game." It's like it's right there. It's like, wow, yeah.
Immortalized forever, right?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, like I talked to my brother about it, who was a journalist at the time, and he said, "Yeah, if someone gave me that line, I'm using it 100%. Like it might be the header of it, the entire thing. I'm using that line."
and I mean, I kind of want to play off of that too, if you don't mind. Like,
Yeah.
something that I tell. This is kind of a funny story. I used to date a girl who was an artist, and one time I met her family, and the family member was like, "Oh, are you an artist too?" And I said yes. And then my ex and I both looked at each other, and she was like, "Huh?" And I was like, "Huh?" I was like, I'm a storyteller, is what I told her, and it just kind of became a meme from there. But really, like, and I want to open up to you guys too. Like, we are storytellers.
Mm.
That is what a caster does. We bring these players to the forefront. We talk about their seasons, this specific characters, right? The meta. These are the stories that we bring to each and every broadcast that we do. So, just want I don't know if you guys vibe with that. Don't vibe with that. I'm curious.
I mean,
Mm.
I'll
I
say
vibe
that.
with that. Oh,
No, Mega,
go
you go
ahead.
first.
Yeah.
I was gonna like all I was gonna say is that I vibe with that because that in my mind is what different like because there's a lot of casters obviously, right? There's tons of people who are picking up and different levels, casual, professional, all that stuff. In my mind, what separates a good caster from a great caster most of the time is if they're trying to tell a narrative and trying to tell a story, because that is the next level. That's the level you need to hit to really be an elite caster. And because you have to weave it into your words while you're still dishing out information. It's something that you have to like actually learn, figure out what sort of style works the best for you, but it's so rewarding because it just makes you that like it just immediately it makes everyone more invested. They're like, "Oh, I want to listen to what's going on here," because it's no longer just information about a match. This is a literal storyline. I'm watching a movie in real time.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where if you want someone who wants to, read off the kill board for a whole hour, you could do that yourself. Anyone can go and say, "Oh, this person's killed this person, and now that person's killed this person." Anyone can do that, but having more of the context behind it and being able to go into a game before things have even started already being like, oh, well, I want to root for this person or this team, or I expect this person to be able to do this. It's good to go in with those emotions, with those ideologies, because it allows you to get attached to the product and the players and the teams more. Obviously, you want that. If you go watch a game that it could be a great game, but if you don't care or learn to care about like the anything that's in it, what's your likelihood of actually coming back for more?
And and my advice to new casters is to try to make those storylines. Do a little bit of prep work beforehand, even if it's just seeing who the captain is for the squad. That's a good place to start because that changes your vocabulary in the middle of the match. You can be like, "Oh, the captain, a clutch play," or they're down 2-0 in this convoy or whatever it is, escort match. How's the captain going to bring them back? Or whatever, right? It's just something simple that helps you fill some of those gaps within the broadcast where you're not just reading off the kill feed. You can pull from something that's super easy. So for anybody who's just trying to get started out there, that's my recommendation. Look for the captain first and kind of make some storylines off of that.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially like you said, you're brand new. You're trying to understand how to do casting a little bit. Like, yeah, you're gonna at least at the start probably do a lot of reading the kill feed, kind of saying the obvious stuff. But the more you stick around with something, and it was because like I used to cast a lot for Tranquility back in the day when that existed, and it like I could tell anyone that first year of me casting is like I didn't care about making a storyline. I just wanted to cast the game because a lot of times we're not following the same team. You're not following the same team. It's hard to build up a storyline because like, hey, yeah, we might have seen this team all the way back in week 1, but now it's week 10 and the team's gone through some changes. Half the team's gone. There's new players here. But especially with me and Hunter doing a lot more Face It, or with doing starting Face It last year, it became really important to like make the storyline as the year went on, or as the season went on. Look at the standings, look at the players. Like me and Hunter got attached to a lot of players in Face It League just because one, their play, and really mostly comes down to their play has been incredible on maybe some of the worst teams we've ever seen. So when it comes to the next season, it's like, hey, this player is finally on a team that is getting results. We could not be happier for them because they're finally being able to showcase themselves here, and you start to build a storyline off that. And then when you've been casting a leagues for so long, you start remembering all these players, start recognizing all of them. So it's like you can always go back to like, hey, last season they did this, now they're doing this, and you're starting to build it up. Like the more and more you cast, the more and more you'll actually find those storylines without even like really thinking of it. But like you said, doing a little bit of research, like when it comes time for playoffs, a lot of times, like I'll reach out to the captains. I'll ask them like 5 very simple questions, but just from those 5 simple questions, I've gotten enough from them that can kind of tell me what their season's been like, what they're working on, what they're doing better, and what they think is going to be the thing that really gets them to that next point. And it's really fun to be able to put those together and actually talk about them. And I mean, especially like with what me and Hunter did last night with casting the South American Grand Finals. Like, for Face It, we had been covering those teams this entire season. We knew their stories through and through. And to be able to kind of tell it, and then we had two outlooks of it. One team was going for the first ever undefeated season in history of South America. The other one was looking to get revenge on them for getting reverse swept in the upper bracket finals, but it was also, the team was formed up of a lot of players who were essentially misfits from other teams, but were incredible players all in their own right that came together that almost made this incredible run.
You really do have to be like a journalist, as you mentioned, just be a sponge. So like another antidote, because these storylines can come from anywhere. I was casting a soccer match at some random location in Philadelphia, and like I said, like some of these fourth tier soccer stadiums, they're just out in the middle of nowhere, right? So I'm on the search for the bathroom. I'm looking around. I always have to go before a cast. I don't know about you guys, but before I get in the booth, I have to go to the bathroom before I always get too nervous. So I'm looking around, can't find the bathroom. I see a girl, she's looking around. We both like meet eyes, and we're like, "You looking for the bathroom?" She's like, "Yeah." So we're like, "All right, let's look together, right? Safer that way, whatever." So we're walking along. She's like, "You know, Philly, like my boyfriend is playing for this team, and he loves when you cast because he's like 6'5", and I always say he's got the long leg of the law as on defense or whatever." But as we were talking, she gave me some of the story about his transfer to that club. Because I was like, wait, wasn't he on this club earlier? She was like, yeah, but he talked to this person, this happened, whatever. And I was like, oh, so just a simple question or happenstance can lead to a storyline. And then I brought that up, not the whole story, but I did bring that up in terms of the transfer between clubs during the soccer match. And that was, for me, a good way to fill some of the space when the ball was rolling out of bounds or whatever, right? So you can pick up those little bits of information anywhere that you go. You always just got to keep your ears open for it.
Yeah, like it and it adds just so much to it, because like we said, you could just read out the kill feed, or you could just basically just say, in your example, they're like, oh yeah, and the ball going out of bounds for a throw in. You know, this setup that that this team is having on defense is just working well enough, but they really need to be able to fix it a little bit more. And that's perfectly fine, but you added a lot more characterization and a lot more or like you said, why can I not speak? You added more story to it. This is a normal thing. I even though I'm a caster, I forget how to speak.
We're still human at the end of the day, right? Sometimes even we stumble, even Uber stumbles, everybody stumbles every once in a while. So to your point though, shout out to the GOAT Tiny Shiny. She gave me a session a couple years ago, and one of the main things she said to me was something about zooming in and zooming out. Her first piece of feedback after watching one of my reels was like, this was like 3 years ago. She was like, you zoom in pretty hard, which is basically what you were just talking about, Dex. We were just like, and the ball is rolling out, which I see a lot of casters doing, where it's like, you don't need to talk about that. The viewer can see that. Bring the story elements, right? We have to anticipate and highlight what the teams are going to do next. So, okay, as the ball's rolling out, maybe a corner is about to happen or something. Okay, talk about the set piece or talk about whatever. I know we're talking a lot of soccer, folks. We'll get back to esports, but it's the same thing. Even after a full reset, okay, how's the team going to go back? What ultimate charge do they have, instead of just saying like, all right, they all jumped off the edge? Talk about what's going to happen next.
Yeah, and hey, no worries talking about soccer. I know we have at least 2 British people who listen to this podcast.
I think all for them, then.
Yeah, I think one of them actually hates the sport of soccer, but he'll get over it. He always does. Or we just don't care enough. But he'll get over it. Yeah, it's like we've had Tiny on in the past actually, and like seeing like there were casters I would always talk about like blowing up very fast and for the right reasons. I think I would always kind of throw Tiny in there as being one of those casters that blew up fast. She really does, I think, deserve a lot of the stuff that she does get. I wish the one thing I wish though from Tiny is that she casted more often, because she is a really, really good caster.
Really good. Uber Tiny, right? Like that's for me. Like, and you guys as well. Like you got, I love. There's so many great folks in here. But yeah, Tiny Shiny, definitely thank you for all that you've done for me and a lot of the scene as well. So yeah, hope to see her back in the booth soon.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm gonna be honest here. If the mainstream for Face It League playoffs wasn't a day, I felt like you would have seen Tiny and Jesse in the booth for one of them, because they've been all over a lot of the like non OWCS stuff in Overwatch lately. But so let's get to the second part of the question now. So you told us what got you in. Yeah, sorry. You told us what got you in. What keeps you coming back? Like, what keeps you coming back to doing esports and stuff with esports production?
Yeah. All right. There's so many parts of that question. One, I love video games. I love esports. So like, I just put that at the forefront. Two, so many great friends, right? Just meeting everybody. I'm going to say their name wrong again. Jebster. I said it. Sorry, Fred. I said it bad on the cast yesterday. But just meeting him yesterday for the first time, what an electric dude! Just really funny, just very like easy to cast with. So just meeting great people. Hunter and I casted before together in a Marvel Rivals tournament like last year. Dex, you and I have casted together as well. So you meet a ton of great people. So it can't be understated the amount of great friends. Shout out to my boy Spooky Mars. Shout out to my boy Cashy. Just some electric folks out there. So that would be one. I love esports and it's validating. I'd be like, Mom, I'm making money playing video games, and she can't say anything about that, right? Two, all the great friends that I have and continue to do, and three, I do like to put on a good show, and maybe that sounds egotistical or whatever, but like I think at the end of the day, we are entertainers as well as we are journalists. So yeah, I want to put on a good show. I want to bring that hype, that energy, that passion to the people that are watching the stream.
Yeah, and like speaking of Getster, one, we all love Getster here. Maybe one of our favorite people here, because it feels like every time you talk to him, he's just always so positive about, and like you said, a ball of energy once he gets going. It's really hard to stop him sometimes.
Yes, it is.
But like, I'll say this: the second part of your answer there, being like you come back because of the friends you made, that is by far the most common answer for this question. And again, I've talked about it before, but every time someone says that, it makes me feel like this podcast is doing kind of something exactly what I wanted it to do, because it's what keeps coming back. It's always like I always want it to be the people. Like we've had people who this is their full-time career. They work in esports. They do stuff with that, but they always just still say the people, because I mean, you can look at everyone who's in this server here. I would consider everyone in the server a friend. And at any random moment, I could talk to any of these people and not necessarily feel nervous about talking to them, because I've worked with them so many times. I've had conversations with them. I've laughed with them. I've joked with them. I've made fun of them. They've made fun of me, especially in the case of these two. They've made fun of me a lot.
It's not wrong.
I love ping.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Hunter.
You get a ping, Mega.
No. Yeah, no. I was just gonna say, if good to know you're not shy. I'll ping Leg Day and let him know.
I already did the VOD review with him. You could stop doing that.
But I love being on like Twitch streams and stuff and seeing people in chat. Like if I'm just watching, like let's say I'm watching the boot camp or something, and I see Madi pop up or Spec or something, like I'll just be like, Madi, and they're always so elated to chat back, like, love you, Phil, just like those kind of things. You see, it really is a community, and we have this one shared bond, which could be Overwatch, could be Deadlock, could be Predator, whatever it is, but we have that shared thing that we can always talk to each other about, which could break the ice, or in this case, lead to other great conversations. So I think that that's really important for one thing. The Overwatch community that I really love is that it is so very welcoming. We have people from all over the world, all kind of walks of life, and we just get together and we have fun with it. So something that I want to try to emulate and bring to my cast as well.
Yeah, and like Overwatch is the reason why I have friends in the EU. I have friends in Canada. Yeah. I have friends. I'm gonna say in South America now. I definitely have some friends down there now, which is really fun. But like, yeah, the communities are. Look, I had something I wanted to talk about. I'm just blanking on it.
This dude, this guy.
Oh! It was like Twitch chat and just randomly running into people like during the Face It stream. I ran into Neva, I ran into Spec, and it was just like we were talking. All three of us were talking to each other there in chat, and it was eventually just Spec said, "Hey, just join this server, just join this call on this server," and then the three of us just got in there for like an hour and a half and just talked to each other. Like, it's really fun. And also just running into random people as well. Like, I've ran into Tiny before, had conversations with her. funniest thing is me and Hunter ran into Tiny randomly playing Overwatch one night, and it was like we got 4 straight quick play games where three of them were against her, and one of them we were on the same team. And unfortunately, Hunter talked to her, but I couldn't figure out my mic.
That was your one chance, Dex.
Yeah, it's fine. There'll be other chances.
All right.
Yeah, but I mean, no, like that's one thing I'm really happy about with the Overwatch community right now is how much it's really changed. I'll say since let's go back till 2020, just before the pandemic. It felt like there was still some animosity with it. While some parts were very open, other parts weren't. I think after the pandemic and as the game, for right of better words, maybe died a little bit, everyone that was maybe a problem kind of left, and leaving the people who really cared about maybe the game and just the community still here. And it's been a great place ever since.
I was thinking it. You said it, man. That's you put it very well. I was having the same exact feelings about how there was kind of that call or the trim, right? And then really the core people who really love the game and want to play together kind of stayed and kind of lifted it up. And so now, but PSA, we're getting a new influx of folks, which is great now with the new Overwatch and the new season 1 and everything. So let's keep that community going. Let's bring in these new people effectively, help them learn the game, help them enjoy it just like we do.
Are you happy you didn't have to cast the 5 brand new heroes this week in CGL?
Oh, I was stressing you. Yeah. I have yet to play any of them. I've watched a bunch of the boot camp and stuff like that. Just haven't been able to get on and try them out. I've read the patch notes and all that jazz. But really, you only understand a hero's kit when you have an opportunity to click the button. I play on controller. Sorry, folks. But when you have the opportunity to click the buttons, move around. So hoping to do that in the next couple of days.
Hey, fair enough. CGL might be the best place for you to play on controller, considering, well, it is called Console Gaming League for a reason.
Very true.
Nah, but like, and Mega, I like this is another thing here, especially with just friends. Like, we're all in a bunch of different servers with the same people. While we all do kind of like come down to one server a lot of times to play in it, but you'll always see like a group of different people there. And I know Hunter and Mega are sometimes some of the first people to join in on those groups when people are playing it. And like, it's immediately once you get in, there's like, hey, it's hello. And then, okay, we're going to start the bullshit, or we're just going to jump in on the bullshit that's already going on. And Mega, I know you have to enjoy that from time to time.
I mean, I always enjoy playing with here's the thing. I enjoy playing because, like, I'm very much an acquired taste as a person, and I will acknowledge that. So basically, once I'm like comfortable enough with people that I can do my shit talking, quote unquote, and people will just like, instead of being like, "Oh, you're a mean person," they'll be like, "Oh, we know you're joking. We know you're not being serious." Like the eternal rage baiter, some might call me. But it just puts it at ease. And again, like, it's unlike anything, because when I first started casting, like, I was kind of isolated. But to actually, develop to the point where I'm like, oh, these aren't just my co-casters, these are my homies, these are my friends. It's, again, it's very nice, and it's very showing of just how the communities are so very welcoming and things like that.
Yeah, it really is. And like, I've had that also with like Rocket League as well, where I cast a couple for a couple leagues in Rocket League, and there are people who wants to cast ends. They're like, "Hey Dex, you want to come play Rocket League?" And I feel so bad because I just say, "No, I don't want to." Like, I'll play Rocket League, but it's like, dear God, you're like Supersonic. Fuck, I can't remember. I don't want to say Supersonic Elite. I know it's not that. Oh God, what the heck? I think Supersonic is like the highest rank in it. It's like, you're Supersonic, I'm fucking bronze, man. Like, you'll see me and you'll look at me saying, how the hell do you know what's going on? And I'm like, buddy, I'm just here to blow people up.
That's okay. That's maybe something I want to bring up, because this is when I'm coaching folks about casting. I usually tell them not to bring up their rank, right? Be like, oh, I'm just a bronze player or whatever, right? Because it's like, if you do a presentation and you say, well, I'm not an expert on molecular biology, but I'm going to teach you about molecular biology, then people aren't going to listen to you because you're not an expert, right? If you walk onto the stage and talk like you know what you're talking about, then people will listen. They'll gravitate towards that. So I try to coach my folks. I don't know how you all feel about it, but don't always bring your rank into it. Like, I'm a plat player. right?
Same.
On Overwatch. I'm not the best, but I compare myself to like a Joe Buck or a Mike Tirico or whatever. Do they play football or golf or ski in the Winter Olympics? No. But they're a professional who's been around the game. They've interviewed a ton of people. They've watched the game for decades. They are a researcher and a student of the game. So that's how I think of myself, as a student of the game, talking to people, researching patch notes, watching videos. That's how I learn a ton of games. Like Deadlock. Guys, I've played like 2 games of Deadlock in my entire life. But I know the game because I watch a lot of people, I talk to a lot of people, and I do a lot of reading.
Also, quick shout out Mike Tirico. Did the Super Bowl, immediately hopped on a plane to fly to Milan, Italy for the Olympics. And I think Mike Tirico might be one of the best like sports commentators out there right now. Like you said, professionalism. He knows everything about it. He has done his research. It's everything you want out of someone who covers sports. But like, I have like wow, holy shit, I can't speak. But no, people talking about ranks is always a very interesting thing, especially if you're a caster. It's like, yeah, what you brought up is if you talk about it and you immediately like say like, okay, yeah, I'm gold as a caster. There's gonna be people out there who are GMs, Grandmaster. That's GM is Grandmaster. God damn it. Grandmaster, Masters players, top 500 players who you're casting or who are watching. It's like, why am I gonna listen to anything this guy is saying or this kid's saying if I'm already better than them at this or they don't understand it? It's like I always like to make the joke of like, you know, I see this a lot in my comp games. I never say what rank I am. It's always like the dumbest thing out there. But it goes back to the same thing of like people talking about ranks and then people who don't play the game and then get surprised by something in the game that has been in the game for over a month. Because I had a cast with someone sometime where it's like they were talking about a skin that was in the game. I was like, yeah, this is your first time seeing it? It's like, yeah, this is a great skin. Did it just come out? Came out 8 months ago. Oh, which shows you how long it's been since I've played this game. I was like, why would you say that?
Yeah.
But
so yeah, something that I try to coach people through, right? It's just talk confidently, and that's a life skill. Another thing is that it's a life skill being a broadcaster, being a caster, right? You can use these things that you're learning to do an elevator pitch, right? Speak at your college presentation, whatever it is. It's just about practice, right? The more practice you do, the more confidence you get, and the better you become.
God, like I needed to have that confidence in high school because I could not do any presentations for shit. Like I had to do a presentation to my class of my senior project, which it was a test one. Thank God it was a test one that my English teacher actually made us practice it because I fucking bombed it. Worst one. Didn't meet the time limit. Barely touched on any of my stuff. I just wanted to get through it and sit back down. But
is there something that you guys do or you all do to like prep before a cast? Like Hunters, do you like meditate or do you like do something to like make the nerves go away? For me, it's go to the bathroom. That's why I just flush all my nerves out and then I'm ready. Is there something you do?
I think I've reached a point where 90% of what I do, I don't get those nerves anymore. Maybe like jitters is what I would better label them as.
Sure.
But if I sit here on a night for CGL or doing a Face It game or even like the World Cup show matches as of late, I just go in being happy that I'm there at the end of the day. That's just where my emotion tends to go. Dex, I think you may fall in that department nowadays as well to an extent.
I got a joke answer, and you know it very well, Hunter.
Yep.
I yawn. I literally
Yawns.
Yeah, like Hunter will start his countdown, and without doubt, I might be like perfectly fine, but he says 5, I'm just like just a yawn. Like I might be perfect. Deal. Yeah.
It happened like 5 or 6 games straight. And I'm like, dude, do you need a nap first? I can solo. Like,
no.
Don't worry.
Energy drink. Red Bull sponsor this. Come on.
I don't drink energy drinks.
But get that man an energy drink.
Just inject it into my veins. I'll be good. Okay.
We need to get Dex a gamer subs a drink. That's what we need. Get that sponsorship, bro.
Honestly, for me, it's like I just talking with either my co-caster or everyone in the production. That just puts me at ease. Like if I'm rushing into something, I don't have that time to have a short conversation. Like I'm going to go in and I know I'm going to make some mistakes very early on. But other than that, maybe like a year ago, it used to be fuck it, I'm putting on some loud music. I'm dancing around this room. Well, no one can see me.
I love it. Mega, is there some special trick that you have?
Um, I don't have a trick, but my quote unquote trick is that I have done theater since I was in the 3rd grade. So I just don't get nervous. Like I
True
could know
professional.
absolutely like I could know absolutely nothing about a cast going in, like get 10 seconds of warning and then be like, all right, you have to be on cam ready to go. And then I'm just like, all right, let's bullshit it through another broadcast. Time to lock in. And then that's just kind of how I roll. Which like it sounds very like, oh, I'm lazy, I don't care. No, I promise. Like if I have the biggest prep work is like if there's team sheets for an event, like going through, reading, getting all that information down. But besides that, like I'm just very chill. I'm just very like, I know I have this.
I guess I got to talk to my psychiatrist and up my like anxiety meds or something. You guys
No,
are
no,
all
no,
very
no, no,
confident
no,
right
no, no,
before.
no,
I
no, no,
gotta.
no, no,
no,
no.
no.
No, here's the kicker on that is because in very big social situations like being on a stage or casting, I am completely chill. Like this right here, talking to people, my anxiety like is fucking flying. I literally had to pick up my anxiety meds the other day and like get back on my meds because my anxiety like in a like personal social situation is debilitating to the point of not being able to function. But
Mm.
like, put me on a stage in front of 1,000 people, I'm chilling. Like I'm good.
I, I also think, at least for me, it's because I've gotten so used to like seeing how many people actually watch like the leagues we cast in and with Faceit stuff. I know how many people are watching. It's like, okay, I know what to expect there. It's going to be, 20 to 50 people. I'm perfectly fine with that. That's a classroom size full of people or a small room full of people. I can deal with that. When I did my first LAN, and especially when me and Hunter were on the main stream for Face It Playoffs 3 seasons ago, um, that was maybe the most nervous I had been in a long time, because instead of casting to somewhere between 20 to 50 people, it was when me and Hunter went on, it was 10,000 people. And we didn't have the moment because me and him were talking with everyone before it, like everyone in production, but I didn't have a brief moment with him to say like, hey, let's have this first map be one where we like get every fuck up out and then lock in for the rest. But without even saying that, both me and him kind of understood right away, like that's what we're gonna do. And we were told after like the first map, you could tell we were nervous because we were talking really fast. We were going through everything really fast. We were making some mistakes. And then they said, after that first map, you kind of settled down and had a great show.
Yeah, I'm sure the adrenaline is pumping with 10,000 people at LAN. I casted a LAN in August, and it wasn't even a big one, right? There was maybe like 100 people or whatever, like in the room, but still, just being on the stage, quote unquote, or in the booth, and you're just like you get nervous a little bit, but you're right, you ease into it. You get in that flow state. Casters, we have a flow state too, just like the players do, where we become absolutely electric. Though, Mega, I have a question for you because you mentioned something, and this is a maybe something I struggle with too, is do you become your character? Like when I'm casting, I become HDPhillyB, and that kind of helps me with some of these performances, right? Is that kind of what you're as an performer? Is that what you're kind of getting at? That helps you get on stage?
It's not intentional, but absolutely. Like there very much is like a caster persona. Um when I'm getting to the booth, and it's sort of again, it comes back to the theater background and just sort of um actually something that I remember from rehearsal specifically, where in order to make sure that you were doing the best you could at rehearsal, like if you had any problems, freaking flat tire that day, freaking somebody yelled at you, something else like that, literally a mental exercise was taking that out of your brain and putting it in an invisible box at the entrance to the theater, and you just have to put that there. And very similar to casting, like I could have these absolutely awful days, but it's like when I'm casting, it doesn't matter. Like whatever happened to me no longer matters because Megalass is here to cast Overwatch and is here just to talk about Overwatch, the storyline, these two teams. So So all of the negativity, anything like that, has to go out of the window. That way, I can put on the best performance. So there is almost like a level of like building a character just to sort of have a mask up. That way, I'm maintaining that standard that I want to. And then there are times that the mask slips, and I feel it. I physically feel it because those are the casts that after the fact I will just go and basically be like, that was shit. I know it was shit. I I just got to rectify that. That can't happen again. Kind of energy.
Sure.
To kind of
Same for you, Dex. I feel like for you too, we get what we get. Like it's you guys are you guys at the every single show. Like there's no persona or like anything that goes on. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I will say, like, and I've talked about this, especially with a question we have a little bit later on. I have that divide. Like, I like having that divide between Spencer and Dexatron. Like, my real life and my online life. There is a slight act, I will say, and I've talked about before, where it's like something happens and maybe I really over exaggerate it happening in the game, but it's more of the thing of like I want it to be more of like I'm reacting to that as a fan of the game, not necessarily a fan of either of the teams. That I'm just so devastated that like the obvious one is like C9s or Ajaxes. I have a small mental breakdown, like especially if I'm the play-by-play caster, I will have a small mental breakdown where I'm saying how, why did you do this? Why did you make this move? How did you forget this? Like there is sort of an act, but I mean it's not like there is sort of an act, but at the same time it's like I'm just being myself, truly. Like there's the times where I will be acting, but the times where it's like, you know, and this is how I would just say no matter what. I'm not gonna necessarily shy away from that.
Sure. Yeah, and just to clear, I'm not being an actor, but I think it helps me be like more confident in myself and be just kind of like have fun with it, right? Because I think in my regular life I have some people pleasing tendencies, so I'm trying to like chameleon and whatever. But I want to get on camera and be HDPhillyB. I can be confident in what I'm talking about. You know, I've done the research, I know the flow, whatever it is. So I feel like that's why I was just curious what you guys do as well, or you all do as well. So thanks.
Hunter, what about you?
Yeah, as it's apparent by the fact of what my name is here, I am Hunter behind the camera. I am Hunter away from the camera as well. I am not someone who went into casting having much confidence at all, just because that's life. I'm gonna cry about it for a little bit. We'll turn this into a sad podcast. But for me, I like being able to find a lot of my confidence through casting and being able to allow that to positively affect who I am outside of esports. And it's definitely easier in times where there wasn't time. There were times where I wasn't Huntertain way back when, and it's like, oh, I can separate being Hunter from Eternal. I can separate that, but I kind of didn't find a need for that to be the case because it's one thing to put on a character, which is a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong, but it's another to be able to take the confidence and everything I build up from here and let that translate into real life in a way that, to this point, has been nothing but positive. So that's just why I've proceeded this way. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. And I'm kind of happy that that's the route that I've decided to go down.
I'm gonna be honest. We don't normally get guests who ask a lot of questions. This has been fun. This has been fun so far. No. Do not take that as a bad thing. It's awesome when guests to have questions. Like I told you, we have those two normal questions, and we kind of try to keep it on track of esports, but we do spiral. But you really asked, I think, some good questions that we haven't necessarily asked other people before, and it's really, really fun to talk about that stuff sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was like, when you texted me earlier today, I was ecstatic because, like, yeah, we all get to talk like when we're about to go on a show and stuff like that. But in my real life friend group, I'm the only caster, right? I'm the only one on this route, and so I don't really get to talk shop very often. So that's why, like, sharing ideas. This is like our little conference that we're having or something. We get to share ideas, share experiences, and make everybody better, and make the viewers better as well. So hopefully, everybody learns something. I mean, one of my big things is energy, entertainment, education. That's how I want to go to every cast. And so it's all about, I work at a university, right? I'm teaching students all the time. So if I feel like I can bring that to this podcast, any cast that I do, I feel like I've done my job.
Yeah. And let's actually move on now to, or just kind of
Sure.
follow that up almost immediately with your cast, especially because I said we'd bring it back up a little bit earlier. The differences in the games you cast here. You cast a shooter like Overwatch, one like Marvel Rivals, then you go to Deadlock and
Predecessor.
Yeah. That one.
It's okay, it's a small game. So fine.
And then you have Mario Kart, and then you have Smash Brothers. Like the speed of them, is all the holy shit. The speed of casting is very different across all three of them. The way you cast is very different across all three of them. What's the biggest difference across all three? Like, you do this here, can't really do that here. Maybe you can do it here, but you kind of shy away from it sometimes in favor of something else. Like, what's the biggest difference between every type of game you cast?
That's a good question. I think something that I struggle with and I want to do better at in my cast is being more conversational. I feel like I'm usually very just like, we're talking about the game, we're focusing on the game. I want to do that, but like my banter is not always the best. I feel like Megalass, you're probably awesome at that, just keeping people comfortable and laughing. But for me, I'm very focused on the game. So I think when I'm doing Overwatch, there's that quick burst of play-by-play energy, right? The teams are colliding, things are happening, and then there's a defined reset where, like, one team won, one team lost, somebody capped the point, somebody's in the spawn, we have time to break it down. In Predecessor, which is a third-person MOBA, you need to be more conversational. It's like Dota, right? There's time where you're farming jungle, you're moving across the map, you're doing itty-bitty micro movements, and that's where my buddy Spooky Mars is really good at providing that banter and that conversation that kind of fills some of those times. Yes, we're still providing that energy, entertainment, and education, but we're filling that space where maybe there's not really like action happening, where we are still talking about the game from a high level, or we're also anticipating what is going to happen, right? Giving the viewers a little bit of a lead to what's next. The reason I bring those two up is I think Deadlock is kind of in the middle, where Deadlock is, there's a lot of action all the time because there's 6 players on, or 12 players on a tiny map, but there is still some of those downtimes where they are farming, rotating, moving, where you can have those conversation pieces. So there's, I think the difference between having the conversation and the banter and then talking about the actual gameplay, those are where the differences lie when you go title to title.
Yeah, and like especially for me going from like from like Overwatch to Rocket League, you don't really have that kind of like tense, like Overwatch, you're very used to like 10, 15 seconds on, 10, 15 seconds off, 10, 15 seconds on, off, on. Off, on. Rocket League, it's very different because while there are play-by-play and color commentators in it, I've normally fallen into a role, and everyone else I've kind of fallen into a role with, of a flex caster where they'll pick it up wherever you give it to them. So sometimes it'll be like, okay, I always try to say like, I'm going to talk for 30 seconds, hand it over to the other caster. Hopefully they do the same thing, back and forth, even amount of time across the game works out well. But sometimes it's like, okay, this person took the flag and is running with it. They're still running with it. Oh my God, it's been 2 minutes, man. Holy crap, dude. It's been half the game. Stop talking. It's very fun to see those type of things, especially with MOBAs. Like you said, when you first did MOBAs, very slow game. And I respect MOBA casters because it's like they have so much time that they have to kind of fill and kill before there's really a big fight. But it's like they know exactly what everyone is doing, what everyone is setting up, like where everyone's going with it. It's a really, really fun thing to watch and be a spectator of. It's just one thing I don't think I could ever do.
It did get it was a transition. Okay, I'm back. Okay.
Yeah.
It was a transition, like I was mentioning, when I first got into it. I had to get coached a little bit to be like, Philly, slow down. When somebody's farming a 3 camp, you don't need to be like, and it's an electric 3 camp take. It's like, no, you just like they're farming the jungle. They're gonna look to rotate to mid, to do this, to do that, whatever. But from Overwatch, I was able to learn about hitting those punchline moments, those big, quick casts for some of those fights. And something that it also helped me do is like casting between these different genres is find my voice.
Mm.
Not everybody is the rap god.
Mm.
Sometimes there are great casters. Like I would say Uber is not really a rap god, but he is so fluid and beautiful with the way he describes the ebb and flow of a fight that it just seems natural. Where a lot of people think they have to be a rap god to be a play-by-play caster, and that is not the case. There are plenty of folks out there who don't do that. So that's another, if you're new to casting or production, like don't feel like you need to be Eminem out there. Find your voice. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, no, like if you're being described as a rap god, that's normally a bad thing. Even if you're able to clearly break everything down, it makes sense. Everyone's understanding it. If you're speaking 30 words in maybe 10 seconds, dear God, like you could be amazing at it. Yeah, it's impressive. It really is. And like I've seen some casters be able to pull it off, and just like wow. Like hell, I'll admit, I was probably like the first couple of VOD reviews I ever did with someone or with some people was like, you need to stop being a rap god. You need to stop doing this. You need to slow down a little bit. And especially in some like big moments, sometimes the best thing to do is just to stop talking and let the moment happen, which is one thing like I think is very, very rare to come because you never know if it is that big moment. But if you get it just right, it becomes like, I think, an almost incredible play, especially for a caster who your job is to talk. Your job is to explain the stuff. And sometimes you're just letting it go because it's just that good. I want to have it happen one day because there have been definitely some examples that we have seen in the past where there was very minimal talking, but it was just, hey, we're letting this play out and it's great.
I think that's something I learned from soccer, right? I feel like the Avatar, like Last Airbender, sometime where I'm like, I'm doing my training over here, then I'm training over here, and I'm blending it all together to become a unique caster from my perspective. But in soccer, sometimes you just let the game play, just for not for like 5 minutes, but a minute or so. You just let them kick the ball around. But then it's also the technique about entering back in. It's not going to be like, and they're doing great. No, you go in slow. Like here's Zubek. Now so and so Smith, right? Like and then you go back into the conversation, right? So it's about this energy transfer, like it's almost like a bell curve, right? You need to lead up to it, hit the climax, and then go down with your like falling action, and then find that pass off to your co-caster kind of thing. So definitely, you don't always need to be yelling all the time, right? There's this ebb and flow, almost sing-songy kind of method to the casting, at least how I try to do it.
Yeah, no, there definitely is. And like it's why, like, especially in a lot of these community leagues, you see that ebb and flow kind of be a little bit awkward because a lot of times it's might be new casters casting with new people or experienced casters casting with new people, and you just don't understand how the other person cast. And maybe by the end of the series, if it lasts 3, if it goes the distance of 5 or 7, depending on what part of the season it is, you'll see it as the series goes on. They're starting to understand how the other person casts and vice versa. So that ebb and flow is kind of coming in. But it's always interesting when just when two people kind of struggle on it, because it's interesting in the way of like, who's the one who's messing up here? Is it the play-by-play? Is it the color? Are they both messing up equally? Is one person stepping on the other person's toes? Does one person not understand, like you said, the ebb and the flow of everything there, the timing, the pacing, the handing off? It's very interesting to watch new casters sometimes, because some will hit the ground and it'll be great. Some it will take 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks or games to really have them like say, oh, okay, I get it now.
I want to bring this up to the group because once again, like I don't always get to talk about casting, techniques and whatever. But what is your biggest like casting pet peeve? Because for me, it is the mic hog, right? Someone that just like you were talking with your Rocket League example, somebody's holding it for like 2 minutes, and you're like, not that I'm like, give me the mic, but I'm also like, I know I want to try to participate, or I might have something to say, but I'm not going to talk over you because I think that sounds bad. So I'm like letting you finish, but then the point becomes moot, and it's like all this stuff. So for me, my biggest pet peeve is a mic hog. Let's share a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
I'll share one. So I don't bring this up a whole lot, and maybe there's some sentiment across the board here. I get whether it's either a new caster or an experienced one. They'll have phrases that they do use a lot, which to an extent is fine. Obviously, to an extent, it is okay. If you have something that you say a lot, that is fine. But if I give like a transition that's like a 4 out of 10, not that great, and I give you a transition that's like a 9 out of 10, I've like, yeah, I killed that, and I get the same response every single time of like, man, that was great, and they're like, yeah, absolutely. Or the same thing every time. It's like, listen, I don't need you to become a savant. I just need you to react it with some similar cadence and energy that I am giving. And I get it. I really do. And this isn't calling out any specific person because it happens with a lot of people. I've done it too.
I mean,
know
you can call me
this.
out.
But it's like, I mean, you do it too to an extent, yeah. But like, you have more phrases. Like some people, it's like absolutely, yeah. Or it's like they'll just repeat what you said, and it's like, I get it. But man,
So funny. Yeah, absolutely. That is a phrase we hear a lot. So everybody says it, And so I actually have a list that says like options for that instead, which is like for sure,
Yeah.
10 out of 10, 100%, things like no doubt, right? Like just other phrases that you could say instead of just like, yeah, absolutely. Like I say it all the time. It's like, give me something else.
Bet.
Bet. I mean, I'm too old. I'm 33, so I don't know if I can say bet. I'm not allowed to say that kind of stuff.
That's always such an interesting thing. We're like in CGL, I think we're some of the older casters here. We're all 27. Right, Mega, you're 27.
Yep.
Okay, I know.
I'm 28.
Okay, Hunter, I was giving you a year, man. Okay.
Just take it.
Listen, buddy. There's no year for this shit, bro. It's over.
Oh god.
Listen.
Hey, I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there.
You're fine. You're like a billboard. I'm like a fucking movie theater.
What the fuck does that mean?
What theater's bigger than a billboard? Do I need to enunciate?
Yeah, more people see the billboard.
Listen, Dex, you're the preview. Hunter's the showing at the theater.
That is good. That's good right there.
Yeah. He's the before, I'm the after.
Listen, this is why I'm virtual, because hairlines are an issue sometimes, It's easier to be virtual. But to try to drag it back to where we were, with
Smart.
with the pet peeve conversation, ironically, my biggest pet peeve is not necessarily with another caster, it's with my own brain. Where if I am sitting here casting and all of a sudden while the other person's talking, I'm like, oh, this would be a great fucking point to bring up. If it's like, oh, I want to talk about this diva. And then by the time it gets to me, the diva's like dead and they've switched to Hanzo or some random nonsense or what have you. Then I'm like, is there a way, like, my brain will sit for the next 10 minutes like, how can I organically bring this up? Because I really wanted to say it. And fun fact, that actually happened a few minutes ago because I wanted to bring up something, and I'm going to now even go back to it now because it's that much in my brain. When y'all were talking about delivery and energy stuff, right? That is a theater technique as well for having to build in certain parts of a line when you're, because obviously anybody can just read a script, but to actually deliver and act and things like that, you have to figure out where those high points are, when you want to hit something, because it's not always at the end of a sentence, right? You need to sometimes punch right in the middle of a sentence and then have that sort of downward back to calm to be able to transfer the right energy to the person you're acting with or to help set the scene. And that also applies to casting incredibly well. Casters are all actors, god damn it. Realize it. Anyway.
Mega, I like talking to you.
I'm so happy. Like, you don't understand. That was sitting in my head for 10 minutes. I was like, I need to fucking say this. I don't care that I'm going to drag it back. Like, I do not give a fuck. Oh.
Mega, you and I are the same mind, because I have something in my head that I'm like, wait, when can I bring this back up? Because I want to talk
right now.
Yes!
Right now. This is your time. Bring it back up
now.
right now.
Wait, but Dex, we didn't get your pet peeve.
We'll get to it. Bring it back up now.
Well, this is a whole different thing because this is like what you were mentioning about flex casting, right? And I wanted to get your take on this because this is, I don't want to say the hot thing or whatever, but like a hybrid caster, a flex caster, right? Is that the way the scene is trending? Is that something that you all agree with? It's a more in-depth question, Dex. That's why I was like, let's hold off on that. So get to your pet peeve first, though. I want to hear what it is.
Oh, my pet peeve is just stepping on toes, basically. It's just the one of the casters will always kind of cut you off either where they think you're finishing it up, or where they just say, you know what? I'm just gonna. I want to go. My turn. Give me the talking stick. You can go sit back there for a moment. I'll give you the talking stick back in a little bit. I'm just gonna step on your toes here and start casting over you. Granted, it's a pet peeve. Hypocritical because I probably do it sometimes. Hunter can probably attest to this. I swear though, Hunter, when I do it with you, I swear I'm trying not to. It's just me trying to.
I know.
It's just me saying like, "Oh wow, I see this one thing that I know you're probably not." But yeah, like it's weird because the pet peeves, like you don't think about them until they happen, and then you realize like, "Oh God, I hate this. I really hate this. Why did this person do? Why did this person do it? Why did I do it? Why am I here?"
Now the glass has been broken for all of us. So now anytime we get back in the booth, if any of these four things happen, we're just gonna be like, shit. Like, oh no.
It's gonna be okay, the camera's not gonna be on me, it's gonna be in the middle of a match. It's gonna be like, oh, God, why?
But yeah, so I do wanna drag it back for using Mega's terminology here to that flex hybrid caster kind of thing. Because especially, let's say, take for example, like a game like Deadlock, or even in Marvel Rivals, I've seen, because that game is it's always happening. It's faster paced. It's more chaotic than Overwatch is. You feel like you have to be in this hybrid where anybody can run the play-by-play at any time, and you have to then provide some analyst if it's your turn, quote unquote, to do so. So just curious as your thoughts on that kind of flex hybrid kind of style.
I'll go first on this one. I think especially for new casters, it's rare to fall into that kind of area. I feel like where it's like, hey, we're just gonna run flex hybrid. Like it happens a lot in Rocket League, because at least with me, where it's like I run into someone else and like, I don't really know how to do this well, or I don't know, like I'm not necessarily comfortable with play-by-play just yet, but it's like, hey, that's fine. I'm okay just bouncing back and forth with you on this. It'll be perfectly fine. But like, especially for new, like this is a weird tangent with this, but for new casters, it's a thing where I say, hey, do both. Do both, especially in all these community leagues. There's gonna be a need for both. Figure out how to be play-by-play, figure out how to be color. It will help you down the line, especially in instances where it's like, hey, something's going on. You want to be able to kind of keep it going, because maybe you're talking about something and the thought process you're on is like, it breaks out. It's happening right in front of you. What you were kind of predicting is going on. You want to just keep going with it. And it's really fun to go from that color to that play-by-play spot. And then immediately, once that thing ends, say, okay, throw it back over to the real play-by-play. Let me fall back into my role. I think it's important to be able to do both, really, and be able to have that kind of flexibility and that kind of hybrid play style, or hybrid casting style. But you need to kind of know the other caster, because it goes back to my pet peeve. You don't want to step on their toes, which if you do it, if you're being that kind of flex hybrid thing, you're stepping on their toes a little bit with it, because you're taking their spot. You're taking what their role is supposed to be. I think it's important, but you have to know how the other caster you're working with cast.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, I think that having the chair 1, chair 2, or play-by-play color is really just a way to help define, who's speaking when, who gets the talking stick, that kind of thing. And the talent of casters, or the skill of casting, is making it not seem like it is that back and forth, right? Where it's that clean cut, where it is more conversational, more fluid, right? But there really is some of those defined roles in there, for sure.
Next.
Good question. Mega's next. I'm throwing her under the bus. GG's.
Oh, fuck. I'm gonna be so real. I'm not prepared in the slightest.
This is how it goes.
My brain is.
That's fine.
Yeah, no, I surely have nothing. Like I got the Windows screensaver right now. I got nothing. Hunter, you have to talk. I got nothing.
You know, this is gonna be really awkward, but I have to regurgitate this thing.
Dear.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm not gonna lie. I swear I have been paying so much attention. I had a solid 15 seconds of just like, you know, like old school like TV. You go to channel 4 instead of channel 3, and it's just
Yeah, hey,
yeah.
guys, look at what I just posted in general on the server. This is both you guys.
Uh-oh.
Please, I'm so sorry. Please reiterate just a moment. Please.
You're fine. I mean, it is just it's kind of that preference, right? In terms of hybrid, but is it something? And I think Dex
Yeah,
made a really good point
right.
about becoming
Yeah.
a hybrid caster. And it's like learning, like maybe you're a support player, but understanding how the tank plays. You have to play some tank games and being like, oh, okay, that's how I position. That's where I'm gonna be, or whatever. And I think the same goes for casting. So, like as Dex said, do both. It is important to do both.
Mm,
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Exactly. Like again, at this smaller community level, there's no reason to not do both because like while you think, "Oh, I'm better at this," give yourself the shot. You may realize, "Oh, wait, I'm actually much better at this. I can sort of like this feels much more natural to do." Um and there's no real reason to ever differentiate until you're trying to hit that next step and you're actually at the level of like, okay, people are actually trying to pay me for my work, and that means that I'm good enough to be able to sort of differentiate and sort of specialize myself. That way I can make myself even better because obviously it's better to specialize, but when you're just starting out, learn any and everything. It's like a new class in school. Like give yourself the opportunity. The resources are there. Grab everything you can because it's not always going to be there. So take it and just give yourself this one opportunity to learn because it's the first time that you can say that you're new.
Yeah, it's really important to take in that different perspective. Stop smiling over there, you son of a bitch.
No. I just wanted to say,
But
sorry, I'll derail this real quick. The moment that Philly reiterated the question or put that question back out there, you guys both had that light bulb moment where you guys were like, "Oh, I remember now." It was so funny to see it.
but no, it is really important. Like I very primarily do play by play, but even just today for the World Cup thing, I did color. I did color. And it's good to have that perspective and go down that route because it is easier to understand from a color perspective if you actually go and do color. Like like for some people, like this is a really weird example because bowling's not even like a big sport. But as someone
Bowling.
but for someone who did like bowling all throughout like school, like at like a varsity level, I'm able to view everything with a very different perspective than someone who just casually bowls once in a while. And that's not the best example, but it is an example, and it's something that relates to me. Um, but it's important in that sense to be able to experience it, and it will help you out with your other role as well. Because after you've done that, it's like, oh, okay, I know when the play-by-play did this for me, it was easier for it to do a transition or to set up for this. And as a play-by-play, I can be like, oh, okay, this is probably going to be easier for my color to do this. You happy now?
That's a very
You
aggressive.
pass, Hunter. You pass the class, buddy.
Yeah. But like I think who was it was leg day that we had on, and he talked about having to kind of do that flex casting style. I believe at like one of the actual owl events with someone because he was a fill for someone because someone was late or sick if I remember right, and he talked about like the other person really only knew color, he only knew color, so it was like we're just kind of go with the flow with this one here. And I think he said like he got one of the clips he has in his reel from that stream or that cast because like I think he said something along the lines of like it was something that he was very proud of. He liked it a lot because it showed off a little bit more range for him, and it was something that he'd never himself saw himself doing. Actually, I forget what it was, but it was like a big moment that he is like it's like I want to say maybe an iconic line he said or something. I forget what it was though.
I love Leg Day. Such a fantastic caster. I wish I saw more of them. I know they did a little bit of Marvel Rival stuff, but what is he up to? I feel
Marvel
like I haven't
Rivals.
seen him in a while. Is he
Uh,
doing Marvel Rival still? Okay.
T1,
All right.
top tier Marvel Rivals.
Fair
Yes.
enough. Fair enough.
Funny enough,
right,
Mega will always hold it over my head that the only reason that we got Leg Day on is because she just reached out to him and said, "Hey, you want to come on?" And he just said, "Sure." Didn't know he was a listener of the podcast beforehand, but we found that out during the podcast that he listened to us, which was a weird thing for me because like how far is our reach? Because I always thought like maybe it's just like the people we know, our friends. When it was like, oh fuck, Leg Day listen to us. Who else does?
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, Leg Day up here, tiny shiny. You got like the legendary caster. So some of the best lines. Like loved. He does have the like the EU buff, right? As they have that extra accent and
Yes.
everything that we don't. I wish I had that, man. Oh, I'm so lucky, but still an awesome caster, man. Shout out to him for sure.
I still like we asked him a question, and we'll ask you the question eventually here in this podcast. And like it's something along the lines of like what annoys you the most, and he said, "Oh yeah, American players." And or NA players, and then a couple weeks ago we had someone come on who was a caster who, like you, works in a lot of esports, works in a lot of traditional sports, and his answer to that same question was the British, like no hesitation, just the British.
None.
It was so funny to have like that the difference there between two different people, and they were both joking about it, but it was really funny to see that. But here let's because we talked about a lot of Overwatch Rivals and the two MOBAs you cast. Let's go over to the Nintendo ones you cast because those are very interesting because
Sure.
we've had a couple of our friends who cast Overwatch who also do work with one works with Splatoon, one works with Mario Kart, some do Smash. Hunter's done a Smash LAN, which his first LAN, which was a big thing for him. But those are two completely different games, but the communities for them are massive just because those games are so much more friendly to people just getting into them. Like, was it kind of like working those events or those
Yeah,
games?
so
My bad.
this is a great story too. So it was July of 2023, and I live in Wilmington, which is in Delaware. It's close to Philly, right? It's like a 30-minute
Mhm.
drive.
Go Blue Rocks.
But anyway, so yeah, that's right. That's right. Um, so anyway, I live in the city. There's a couple bars across the street from me, right? I follow him on Instagram, whatever, and I see an Instagram post that's like, "Hey, Smash tournament at Trolley Tap House tonight." It's like, all right, it's like July, it's the summer, like after work, let's just walk in. So it's like a bunch of people, and they're playing Smash. Okay, well, being a caster, I walk up to the manager and I was like, "Can I cast this?" And he was just like, "Sure." So then I casted like the matches for like a half an hour. Then I had to go play D&D with my friends. Well, the manager ended up talking to one of the people there who was a friend of mine. We played on volleyball team together, and he got my number and he texted me. And after my D&D session, I ran back over to the bar and he was like, "Hey, could you come and cast this when we do it every month?" And I was like, "Sure." And so then for the next, it was like 2 years, twice a month I would go to Tap House because we'd have one Smash and one Mario Kart tournament, and we do it in a very like inclusive way. So it's a 4-person free for all for Smash. So we have 4 people come up, right? If you're in the top 2, you move on. If you're in the bottom 2, you get an X, and it's a double elimination. So people stay for at least 2 rounds. But beer sponsors will come through and give out gift cards and knickknacks and all that stuff. Well, it was the April 2025. The manager of Tap House, he was like, "Philly, I'm quitting. Going to do something else, whatever." But he's like, "We have something going here, and I want to keep doing it." And I was like, "Okay." So he has utilized his connections through the bar scenes in like Philly, Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, whatever, to get us all these different gigs. And so that's what we've been doing for over the last year, is going to all these different places and having these tournaments. So we have regulars, we have people that come to every single one. We make new friends every week who sign up. We see them one time, maybe we never see them again, or they come back because they love it. But to your point, it's the Nintendo has created these family-friendly games, right?
Mhm.
And yes, they try to curb the competition. So how many news articles have we seen of them stopping Smash, right, from being like a competitive game? They don't update it. There's no
Yeah.
live updates. That's also what makes it easy, guys. Is that there's no patch notes for Smash, right? Like I feel like every Friday I'm doing like Marvel Rivals, Overwatch, Deadlock, predecessor patch notes. I'm just like on my computer doing notes, whatever. But Smash, it's not the case. So it's easy. I've been playing Smash since I was 10 years old. So it's just like, oh, it's easy for me to just roll right into it. And I really vibe off of that energy. The challenging part is I'm casting and emceeing for 2 hours straight. There's no co-caster, right? It's more of like that I'm building hype, I'm having fun with people, doing trivia and whatever. But when the game is happening, I am actually casting. But it is more of that for fun, kind of fluid sort of atmosphere, which I really enjoy. This season, I'm working for EGF, the Electronic Gaming Federation, and I'm casting for the Suns Conference and doing the Smash for that, usually on Wednesdays at 7 o'clock. So that's been more of like a good transition for me to do like more traditional style Smash. And then the final thing with the Smash is as part of Wilmington University, we work with the Delaware Scholastic Esports League. And so that is the high school esports league. And the Wilmington University hosts the championship every fall and every spring. So all the high schools get together at the university and we do a big Smash tournament and whatever. So I've been the caster for both of those. So they're LANs, right?
Yeah.
We've had like 50, 60 students get together. And so this past fall we did a crew battle LAN. So the high schools came and they brought crews of like 4 or 5 students and they did like a whole crew battle scenario, which was really awesome. But yeah, I'm on the stage casting the majority of those matches too. So it's always a lot of fun. I love Smash because, like I said, it was like the first really competitive video game. I hosted tournaments at my house. Like that day before Thanksgiving break was like a half day. So everyone would come on the bus with me and go back to my house and we'd have like a big tournament. My dad would bring pizza, like all that kind of stuff. So loving bringing everybody together since day one.
And no, quick sidebar about just shout out Nintendo for actively shutting down the growth of some of your games. Dear God, why is
they're gonna shut you down? Dex, be
Amazing.
careful.
I don't care. I love Splatoon. Why is Splatoon the only game they give a shit about when it comes to esports? Smash is so much more popular around the world. Like it's so much
about Pokemon VGC. That's crazy.
They don't run that. They don't run that. That is like from my brother. They do. My brother knows all about it. Nintendo has nothing to do with that. That is their own separate entity.
Yeah, it's the Pokemon company.
Yeah, the Pokemon company, but they partner with like a tournament organizer for that, for the most part. Like they have Nintendo has nothing to do with Pokemon. I don't count Pokemon is only on Nintendo stuff. It is not a Nintendo game.
It's evolved.
It is its own game that just happens to have a signed deal with Nintendo that they have to put it on its consoles. But like Smash could be so much bigger. There's been so many fun Nintendo games that could be competitive ones. Remember when they actually tried to make ARMS? Like that was going to be their big fighting game? Granted, this is coming from someone who actually liked ARMS. I really liked playing ARMS like the first month after it came out. But like,
I never played it, and I always forget that Min Min is from that universe because if she gets played, I'm like, wait, where's this character from again? Like that was just like a one-hit wonder kind of deal. That game.
That the only reason Min Min was in Smash is because, hey, this is a Nintendo title. We need to have them in the game. It's like fire. It's like
Luigi, guys.
It's like Fire Emblem. It's like Fire Emblem. Hey, no, again, I like Fire Emblem. I will admit though, some of the characters don't need to be in there, but not any of the recent ones. Some of the older ones they can get rid of because they're copies, but the more recent ones they're actually unique enough to be on their own. But no,
I'm still waiting for Waluigi. That's all I'm saying. You heard it here. I'm waiting for that guy to be playable.
Smash Ultimate 2 on the Switch 2, you'll get him.
I feel the Smash rant coming back from Mod's episode. I have to calm myself. I'm gonna get angry.
Yeah, no, it was really funny. We talked to Mod about Smash because he cast Smash, and he said the first thing once we brought it up was, "I fucking hate Smash."
No, Marty, no. We've casted Smash together actually
No,
for EGF. But
yeah, it's funny because he said that, and then I think like 3 days later, he said, "I hate Smash. Never want to cast Smash again." 3 days later, guys, I'm casting Smash. It's
You can
go ahead, Hunter.
little side tangent, just because I know this from a video I watched way back then. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can play Waluigi, not in an official game, of course.
Project M.
But Crusade has Waluigi in it. If anyone knows about Crusade,
Learn us,
maybe
brother.
don't.
No,
That
I
honestly,
don't
that's
know.
understandable. It was a very small like itch.io project from way back when, but
Fair enough.
I saw it in a pretty big video. I was like, oh, that's cool. And Waluigi was in it. So that's a little side tangent. So technically, he's there somewhere. Just felt like a
there's
fun little tidbit.
Yeah, there's like a Rivals of Ethers mod for Waluigi. Like, no, just put him in the game. Like, let him play tennis or
Why
whatever
not?
the fuck he does.
Let him play.
Let him
You
play
put
tennis.
Ridley in the
Let him
game,
throw
like-
roses at people. He'll do something. You could make him the biggest joke character in the game, where every move he does 5% damage, and you'll still see someone main him with all their heart and somehow win a
Yeah.
tournament. It would be you. It would Philly. It would be you.
I'm okay at Smash. Not like, you know, I'm not memorizing frame data and stuff like that. But no, as a joke, I would love to be a master Waluigi player. That would be awesome.
Yeah, but getting back to it, because we talked about the tangent of just Nintendo really making their games great for esports and not suing people for trying to have fun with them.
Yeah, definitely not.
But
Definitely
like, especially with something like Smash, the weeklies community or the monthlies community is so big. And like you said, you're going to different bars and restaurants now, and I have to imagine those are some really, really fun things. But you said you know MC and cast for 2 straight hours. You get them hype. You do trivia. Is there ever a point where you're like an hour in and you're just like, oh dear God, I still have another hour of this. These people aren't giving me anything. I'm trying to give them a lot here, but they're not responding.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think because of the way that my business partner and I, Ryan, have it set up is that we do move it. It does go pretty quick. And we do get a lot of our regulars. And so fortunately, yeah, the regulars do help provide some energy. They help with those storylines like we were talking about. Like, oh, here's a veteran, Gafravi. He's done X, Y, Z, la, la, la. But there have been some times where we've gotten like 3 people to sign up for a tournament, right? If we try a new location, there's maybe 3-4 people sign up. Trying to get that room motivated for 2 hours, like, it won't usually go 2 hours, but like, you know, those sorts of things. I think that's when I feel the most defeated or have the least amount of energy, is when I get some of those situations. But I get myself pumped up, sort of like what Megalass is saying. Is like, I'm putting on a show for these people. They're coming out on a Thursday night, a Monday night to have fun. And I'm a big part of that fun that they're having, right? If I can make a memory for them, like we had our Halloween cast and I had a giant like life-size Pikachu costume that I wore and casted in for the entire time, right? And that made a good memory for folks. Do I have a photo?
Do you have a photo?
I do. I will send
Let's
it to you.
go. Oh,
Hell yeah, another person who commits to the bid and dresses up for a Halloween cast. I love it.
You gotta do it. I dressed up as Spider-Man the year before, like, you know. So it's like when you build the community and you build those memories, and you want to entertain people in that space specifically. So, but I think that's what makes it enjoyable.
Do I not
I'm
have
gonna beat your ass.
What?
No, I'm gonna beat Fletch's ass
Oh.
for talking about costumes for Halloween again.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
true.
I thought you were about to say
Oh, yeah,
mine.
we're
I'm like,
gonna
oh, if
bring-
you want to, Megan.
No,
We're gonna
no. While Dex gets the photo up, basically, as you can clearly tell, I'm
I
a
don't have the photo.
VTuber, and the pretty much
You
the
are?
most consistent person that I shut up. The most consistent person I cast with is this dude named In the Fletch, and for a Halloween cast last year for CGL, this fucker, without telling anyone, turns on his webcam and he's cosplaying me. And
awesome.
everybody immediately lost their shit. It was great.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
I'm trying to find that photo. Mega, do you have it?
It's a sticker.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
sticker,
it's
but
literally a sticker.
I know it's a sticker, but I want to have it bigger so I can also show it on the screen. Yeah, the
Wait,
the
well,
sticker
yeah,
is
well,
the sticker
yeah.
is greatly named "In the Flesh"
I'm gonna go to my DMs for Fletch.
because
That's a character for sure.
his online name is In the Fletch.
Yep. But
Yeah,
Dex, I'll have to find that picture's on my phone, so I don't want to like look through my phone while we're on the podcast here. But after the fact, I can send it to you if you need to make it the thumbnail or whatever you want.
no.
I don't care.
No, I
You
never
can
do anything special with the thumbnails. I might, it might be a part of tomorrow's post about, hey, the episode goes live on Tuesday. Like, here's who we have. Here's and this photo somewhat related.
Here's the
I do
teaser
not
for
have
you.
the
That's
image
right.
saved.
Yeah, because right now the only
not have it
idea that I
saved.
have for the teaser is the GIF I posted about 30 minutes ago.
The spilled milk. Yeah.
I mean, I like to commit to the bit when it comes to Halloween stuff.
Yeah, he does.
It's fun.
This dude's been glowing in the dark for how many years now?
Technically
Yeah,
two.
too many years.
Technically two.
God, I have to dig.
Actually,
for
no,
mine.
wait, 3. I forgot. It's been 3 years.
For sure.
I love it.
I have to dig for my cosplay. Where is it?
Yeah, like what you do, Denji?
Yeah, I've done Denji the last couple years now.
But it's always fun to
Lazy.
see people commit.
Lazy.
It's always funny to see people commit to those commit to those bits of like saying, "Hey, we're gonna have a lot of fun with this. It's a holiday. Let's have some fun with it." But here, before we kind of get into our couple wrap up questions, I want to talk about that, the fun with this. Like you said, it's kind of maybe it is piggybacking off of the what gets you coming or what keeps you coming back thing, but the fun with this, especially with what you do online, whether it be with Overwatch, Rivals, your MOBAs, or what you do in person with it. The fun with it, I have to imagine, is a big contributing fact to saying like why you keep on coming back to maybe some of these leagues, some of these games, some of these locations. Like, what is maybe one of the moments where you are having so much fun? I was like, I want to try to be able to recreate this moment right here again and again and again.
Oh, dang, there's a couple of moments that come to mind, but I think it has to be. Oh, oof. Okay, story time. I got 2
Let's go.
stories, and they both involve predecessors. So the predecessor is a third-person MOBA, and it used to be called Paragon back in like 2016, 2017, 2018. It was made by the same people that made Fortnite, right? They dropped Paragon at the time because Fortnite took off, and they're just like, well, that's making us a shit ton of money, so we're doing all that. So they stopped making the game, they canceled it, but they released all the assets so people could make the game. There's been a number of iterations over the last bunch of years of people trying to like revive the game. Predecessor has been the one that has lived the longest, right? So I think it was 2023. My best friend and I, Dr. Shadow, we were playing every day, and I was trying to convince him, like, Doc, we can cast this. Like, I will take you along. Like, we could do this. So we found like a quick, easy league, the Predecessor Proving Grounds, and we started casting together. And when you get to cast with your best friend, there's that automatic chemistry, automatic banter, and it was something for us to do and hang out with when we weren't casting, because we would get on and be like, yo, let's VOD review or let's practice, and we just got to hang out even more than us just playing online. So that is a great memory for me to cast with my best friend and just have fun with it. But I think the best from a professional standpoint was casting the Predecessor LAN this past August with my boy Spooky Mars. So we were on the Saturday night final cast of the day, which started at 11:30 p.m. at night, Central Time, and we're both on the East Coast, so that's an hour. It was like an hour ahead, basically. Still, we hadn't caught up yet, and we get into the first match, and the power cuts. So we had to wait a half an hour for everybody to get back on. Instead of being on the main stage, they went into the scrim room and used those computers. So we had to wait and all this stuff. So the game really didn't start until 12 o'clock. We got done around like 2. Okay. Then we had to drive home, whatever. We were on the first cast the next day, which was like a 9:30 a.m. cast. Okay. We were exhausted. but we showed up and we absolutely nailed that cast. That was the best flow state, banter, historical, like bringing those storylines, the statistics to everything. Like that was probably one of my most favorite casts that I have ever done in my entire life. That recording is on my YouTube channel. I'm not trying to promote my YouTube. I don't post content. I just use it as like my portfolio, basically, right? So if you do want to see it, this is Mako, one of the new support characters, high flying, rolling little cutie. Just a lot of fun to play with. But anyway, Spooky Mars, he's the play-by-play when we do predecessor. I do the color casting, and it's game 3. It's a lower bracket, like round 3 match. It's one of the most veteran teams versus the upcoming, like, new folks, right? They've won a previous tournament. The game breaks at the as they are going into the base to win it, and he couldn't make the final call. We were so frustrated to not be able to make that cast for everybody. The players got to finish out the match. We just couldn't do the replay. So it was like a heartbreaking moment, but we were both like, damn, we crushed that, And so it wasn't the way we wanted it to end, but we felt really good about that whole process and whole experience. And it was just I don't know, just a highlight over the last couple of years being a caster for sure.
The first time, I think last year when me and Hunter did that face it broadcast on the main stream, it was that was the moment where it's I was having so much fun. I want to try to get that moment again after again and again, and it makes you want to work for it more, to really have those moments, to be able to say hey, if I can do it once, I can do it twice, and if I can do it twice, I can keep on doing it again and again, and eventually there'll be a day where it stops, but you'll have all those moments to really all those moments that you did to remember and be yeah, this was fun. This was really worth all the time, all the effort that I put into it. It was a blast.
Yeah, and I think I really want to highlight the relationship aspect, right? Casting with Dr. Shadow, my best friend, Spooky Mars, one of my closest friends, right? And it felt the best because we were casting together, right? Just I'm sure when you guys cast together, it feels awesome. You have great synergy and inside jokes and mechanics and everything. It just, you get into that state and it just is awesome. So I think I want to highlight the most important is that friendship is what keeps me coming back, the relationships that I make, and just, the connections that happen.
Absolutely. Again, going back to what we already talked about with the what keeps coming back thing, it's always the people. If the people weren't fun, if the people weren't nice, you wouldn't come back to it. It's always that. But Honor, Mega, before we get into our 2 kind of normal questions here, do you guys have any other questions for Philly?
We always do outside of the normal ones.
If you have one outside your normal ones, if you don't, then
I'll figure that out in about 7 minutes.
Specific. Okay, I'll keep you to it. 7 minutes. Now.
Yeah, I'll keep my eye on that clock. But we have our own lovely questions here. Mine, because we are in the gaming landscape, everyone uses a different name, whether it is heavily related to the name, whether it has no relation at all to it. Most of the time, we have a name for a reason, or reasons for that matter. So my question for you, as you might be able to figure it out, deduce, Sherlock, is why did you name yourself specifically HDPhillyB?
Yeah, great question. The something I get a lot is folks are "Oh, are you from Philly? That's why that's your name?" And I'm like, "Yeah." It's not as deep as that. My name is actually Phil, so it's just that my last name starts with a B. So whatever. Where this whole name comes together though is when I worked at the University of Delaware. I was a hall director. So that was the person who lives in the residence halls. They manage the RAs, who supervise the students or make sure they're safe, that kind of thing. And so my she was like, "Oh, HDPhillyB," and I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool." And so that I had bought my first PlayStation 4 at the time, and I was like, "Yeah, that's got to be my name." So HDPhillyB, just hall director Phil. My last name's Bota. So hall director Phil Bota, and so sometimes people are like, "Oh, high definition Philadelphia baller," and I'm like, I get if you want it to be, but yeah.
Oh my God, Dex, can we name that the episode? Please tell me we can name that the episode.
High definition.
That's so
high
good.
Definition Philly baller.
Yes, it's so perfect. Take it into. I'm gonna take it up with HR. Okay.
I'm HR.
Yep. I'll send you the email later. Make sure you check your email.
But yeah, I mean, and I love it because then you all can just call me Philly, and it's super natural, right? Because that's my name, so it's just I can respond to it easy. It just feels okay. I don't have to be like, do I call you Mega, Megalass? Do I call you Hunter, Huntertain? Like, you know what I mean? It's just like it's Philly, and that's it. So yeah, good question. Thanks.
It's the weird thing with me is people will call me Dexa, and I understand why. I understand why, but it's like, why? I, I want to know why. You cut it in half. It makes sense. There's Dexa and then there's Tron. Why just not call me Dex? I accidentally made that same mistake with Mega once, and she almost killed me.
Okay. Look, but listen. The amount of times I have heard Meg like I'm a fucking Family Guy character that irritates.
Yeah.
Like just hit the A, like Megalass, Mega, all like any variant, good to go. Hell, if you know my real name, go for it. Like I'm good with that even. But Meg, that pisses me the fuck off. Like that just aggravates me.
What if we call you like Miguel? Can you just cut off the last three? Call you
Miguel.
Miguel.
They called me Miguel Ass.
So that's a horrible joke.
I think she might. I think she's gonna try to kill you now.
I think death is coming to at least one of us.
Well, she knows where I live, so this is a problem. I told her what city I'm in.
Oh, we know
That
what city,
menacing
we know what city
smile.
Hunter lives in as well.
Yeah, like
Okay.
you could narrow it in pretty well.
Ay.
All right, Meg. Fuck. Sorry. All right, Mega.
All right, so we figured out who's
Shut it
gonna
down,
die
shut it
today. We figured
All right,
it out.
well, Mega, I'm gonna reach
All
out for a
right.
new co-host on this one.
Yeah,
I
While
swear,
he's
I
murdered.
swear I stuttered.
That
was a stutter. I'm so
your
fucking
days
sorry.
Your days are numbered.
I'm so fucking
Your
sorry.
days are numbered. Look outside. There's a cactus already there. Anyway.
I mean, there is a cactus outside my house.
Yeah, and that's me. So just it's happening. You're dead. But death threats aside, yeah, actually I can't kill you yet. You have to bring up the special graphic for my question.
Wait, so if I don't bring
so
it up, I don't die. I know it. I've broken the system.
Yeah, okay, yeah, perfect. You've broken this. But
where is it?
Philly. So
there it is.
I am known as the eternal hater, in case you cannot tell. I love to spew hate and vitriol. And you kind of already covered this earlier, so I'm hoping you give a different answer. But not necessarily a pet peeve, but I want you to think back through all of the broadcasts you've worked, all the things you've done. It could be an in general thing, a one-time event, whatever you want to go for. But what is something that really has grinded your gears?
Oh, that's a really tough question. I'm a generally like a very positive person. So it's like I don't always think that critically or that way. Um, I, this might just be like a weird like soapbox thing I'm going to stand on. But we need to all help each other a little bit more in terms of casting, because I think sometimes there's that cutthroatness where it's like, well, there's only a few spots and this kind of thing, right? And like, I'm not going to tell you my secrets, or I'm not going to help you, or whatever it might be. And I don't like that. If you want help, sure, let's sit down, let's talk, let's do whatever. Like I'm never gonna try to lock somebody out from being a caster, because it is fun, and you lock somebody out from making great friends or finding the community that they want to belong into. So I understand it is a job for some of us as we're trying to like maybe climb the ladder or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, the two most important things are those connections and relationships. So I want to make sure that when people don't honor that, that's what grinds my gears. So if there's nepotism or just like exclusion or whatever, I don't like that. We're all here to help each other. We're all here to, have fun playing a game or whatever. And I hope, everyone can live up to that.
Sure, no gatekeeping. I can fuck with that. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Might be the most wholesome answer we've ever gotten for that question.
I have to go back through all 53 episodes.
No, I don't know about that. We've had people that like almost like, man, I really don't want to say anything negative.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I put Tiny in that category. Like, I don't even remember what she said, but I feel like it was wholesome.
I think Rain was in the same realm, I feel like.
Yes, Rain. Believe it or not, if it's a woman, they probably were trying to be nice. Who would have figured that one out anyway?
Was Echo? Oh wait, no, we never asked Echo this question. We weren't
No,
doing
because
we weren't doing
we're
the
still
bit.
doing. We were doing the Blues Clues bit back then.
Yeah, we were.
I miss the Blues Clues bit sometimes.
You could always bring it back.
I was actually thinking. We could, but like, I've actually was thinking about finally changing off of the Paprika profile picture. I was thinking it might be time.
Well, considering that the landlord no longer owns the house, I think it might be time. The city took it.
Might be.
The city took the job.
Yeah, this is why we have the sticker that Soa posted, but that is a joke on top of another joke.
Meta joke on top of a meta joke.
Oh boy.
Genuinely.
That's exactly what this podcast is.
This joke is gonna be. This podcast is gonna become like ancient Egypt with their fucking hieroglyphics that you need like 8 years in school to fucking decipher.
Yeah,
I love all those.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I finally looked at the general chat, so I just saw all the pictures of the cosplay, you and your Halloween costume, and then you as Denji. I just finally saw all that. That's good stuff.
Yeah, that's not even like the good one, but that's the one thing I found, and I'm like, that's close enough.
Well, thank you for sharing it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
No, but like you're absolutely right, and it's like when it comes to your pet peeve, it's like, again, if you're going to be going, if your main thing of getting into this is to say like, hey, I'm going to be at the top one day. Yeah. Have that mindset, but understand there's, if you're wanting to be up there, there's probably thousands of other people who are going to be up there as well. Have fun doing it. Make those good connections, help people like that. I think that's one thing that's really helped a lot of us out. So those people who have helped us when we first got started. And now it's one thing, like we all want to be able to help out new people who are coming in because, hey, we've been at this now for 3, 4, 5+ years. Help the new people who are just getting into it because especially right now in like something like CGL, there's a little bit of maybe the first time I've seen it in a while, a little bit of a drought of new people coming in to work the prod side, whether it be casting, whether it be observing, producing. You're not seeing like, it seemed like 2 years ago, I was always casting with someone new. I was working with a producer who was not the same every time, but maybe I'd go through like 3, 4, 5 different producers before I'd get another or a repeat. And then observers, like you would see, there'd be times where there'd be 15 observers that said like, hey, yeah, I can do a cast. I can work a broadcast tonight. Now it's lucky if you find one. It's like always help out. And like a lot of leagues right now that are still around, that's like their main goal right now. Help out the new people, make it a very welcoming place for them as well. So they want to come back to it, which is something that needs to happen a little bit more often.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I can.
Oh, Hunter, it's been 7 minutes. Do you have your question?
I do have a question. It's a question that this is a reference to a somewhat recent episode. The fact that I can't remember who it is specifically kind of makes me sad. But I think once I ask it, either Dex or Mega will be like, "Oh yeah, that episode," or "Oh yeah, I remember this question." Wait, no, I do remember now. I know exactly whose episode this is. What is your favorite type of ice cream?
My favorite type of ice cream. Oh, I mean, I love just strawberry ice cream. It's great. That's usually what I go for. There's actually a great ice cream place near me called Woodside Creamery. They have a great black raspberry ice cream. So if I'm really feeling it, that's what I'll go for. But I don't go through anything too crazy sweet. I usually like some of the fruit kind of ice creams, like strawberry.
Mm. That's cool.
Solid choice.
Thank you.
It is a very solid choice, honestly.
I'm more of a cookie dough person.
I love my Rocky
Yeah,
Road.
I don't know if I like chewing in my ice cream. You know what I mean? I feel like I just eat it. Just eat it off the cone. You're good.
I love Rocky Road.
I
It's
mean,
a good Weird Al song.
It depends on if I get it in like a cone or a cup. If it's a cup, a cookie dough, because I can just save all the chunks for the end, and they're kind of already soft at that point, so they're really good. If it's a cone, I'm gonna be just boring and just say vanilla. Vanilla. Give me some sprinkles on it, and it's be like, it'll be like that fucking meme of like the dog that's like photoshopped to look like a small child holding a lollipop. Like that. That's how I feel in that moment. Mega, what about you?
For ice cream, I think I already talked about that, but ice cream, freaking like chocolate chip cookie dough is always a banger. As a kid, never really fucked with cookies and cream, but now I've come around on cookies and cream. I like that a lot. Cookies and cream, very tasty. And a specific shout out, the Dairy Queen S'mores Blizzard. I would do terrible things to other human beings for that blizzard.
Try that out. That sounds good.
All right.
Not the terrible things the human being part. But
No. When I tell you, like, they get graham crackers and marshmallows mixed in, and then you get entire chocolate pieces mixed in, like entire piece. It's not officially Hershey's, but it's really good chocolate.
Okay, nice.
On that note, before we go, Billy, is there any other questions that you would like to ask us?
No, but I just want to say thank you so much for having me on and providing these great conversations, right? Some of the thoughts that I've had, like Megan and I talked about, having similar mindsets about how we enter cast, some of the strategies that you all provide for, nervousness and how you handle big situations. I mean, it's just been an absolute treat, for lack of a better term, to hang out with you all and talk shop. It's been awesome.
Yeah, no, like that's one thing I always say with this podcast. It's really fun to get people to come on it, like whether it's casters, like we've had casters, producers, observers, replay ops, we've had graphic designers, we've had social media managers. Most of it is like to get is to showcase a side of, everyone in prod or everyone behind the scenes of esports that you don't get to see. And you always find the passion in those moments right there where you see why people love doing this. And it's really fun to see that week after week after week. I don't think there's been a week where we've done this where it's been like we at the end of it we say, wow, it's like we didn't necessarily get the passion out of it. It's like they just do it because it's like, hey, they're around or anything like that. But no, it's like every week we see people, go like tell stories like you did tonight, or talk about other people. How it thank you, Mega, for the visualization.
I had to scroll through my I had to scroll through my archives of gifts, but I knew I had it.
Yeah, but
gonna hit the add to favorites on that one.
But no, it's like the favorite thing about this is showing the side of esports people, especially people what the fuck, especially people in prod who don't get to talk about a lot. And casters is an interesting one because a lot of times, like, hey, yeah, you get to hear casters a lot, but you don't get to hear them outside of casting. And I think this has been a really fun thing to really be able to talk to people about that. And like you said, we get to generally talk about why we love this. We get to gush about it. It's really, really fun for that reason.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you once again. It's been awesome.
Yeah, no, but thank you, man. Thank you so much for coming on this week. Hunter, Mega, thank you guys as always. And thank you everyone for watching and or listening to this one. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, and make sure you tune in next week. As always, I don't know. Zay? That's the microphone.
Is Zay the new guest? Zay's the guest? Amazing. I can't wait for next week's episode.
Zay's literally like sniffing the microphone. You might have been able to hear her purr. But make sure you tune in next week because as always, I don't know who the guest will be. You'll figure it out when I do. But it'll be a great episode as always. So until then, hope you all have a good week. See you next week, y'all. Bye.